Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and this week I've been driving the 2024 Kia Sorento X-Line SX Prestige. Up front is a 2.5-liter turbocharged inline-4, and down below is an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be making this video because I have spent some good quality seat time in this Kia Sorento SX Prestige, and I really like it. I'm excited to share with you why. I have reviewed several iterations in the Sorento over the years, and so I'm excited to enter the 2024 chapter into the Shooting Cars review books. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 2.5-liter turbo inline-4. Well, I actually don't mind it. It makes 281 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque, which is a pretty decent number, and I haven't felt like I was lacking power in any sort of regard, which is a nice feeling to have. I'm going to compare it a lot to the Buick Enclave because I had that car back-to-back with this one. I know the videos are being uploaded at different times, but I had them back-to-back. The Buick Enclave was swapped out for the Kia Sorento, and I'm going to be sharing with you why I think $48,000 is actually a pretty good price proposition. But the Enclave also had an inline-4 turbo, and I hated it. I actually like it in this car. It's just geared better, it's less weight to pull around, and it feels more fine-tuned for the application it was given. It actually works well. Now, is it going to carve canyons and burn rubber? Not quite, but it will do the job, and I don't have any complaints about the 4-cylinder. Let's talk about reliability. Now, I am very close friends with a master tech at a Kia dealership, and he said that these don't really come in for that many off-color issues. Of course, you're going to get the car here or there that hit a curb and is going to need a control arm, or someone that doesn't change their oil is going to need an engine fixed. But he said by and large, with regular maintenance, they don't see these in the shop all that much, which is a fantastic sign to see. Like I said, paired to it is an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. This was actually one of the first Kia products outside of the Stinger to get a dual-clutch transmission. I actually like it here. It shifts well, it does a good job, and I don't have any worries about it. I'm happy to see that it's not a CVT. Last but not least, this particular Sorento is all-wheel drive. However, you can find them in front-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive the Kia Sorento? It drives like any other big SUV. It is a 3-row, so keep that in mind. This isn't going to be quite the size of, say, the Sportage or Kia Soul or anything like that. It's going to be bigger. It's going to feel bigger. Steering is decently tight. It doesn't take bumps too personally, and the driving feels good enough. I'm sure some car reviewer could take it out on a racetrack and tell you about its suspension and dynamics, but for going around town, of which I've used this for, it's good, and I have no worries. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me is a completely digital gauge cluster. I do like the look of it. I wish that it would change with the drive modes or change color or do anything a little bit more interesting, but this is the look that you get in all the drive modes, so there's that. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our voice commands, mode, skip track, volume, and favorites button, and off to the right, we have our adaptive cruise, as well as our pages icon, and we do have our paddle shifters around the back for that 8-speed dual clutch. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, gauge dimmer switch, power tailgate, and traction control off. And moving on to the door, we have 2 levels of memory seats, power mirrors, power locks, and power windows, along with a nice mix of materials. You do have wood around the handles, some nice stitched leather, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Moving into the center, we do get our infotainment display. This is touchscreen, as well as it does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. However, the Kia's standard UVU system isn't terrible. I don't love it. I also don't hate it. And here's the backup camera. We do get a 360 camera here in the Kia Sorento, which is fantastic to see. Down below that, we have more wood paneling on the dash. I really like the look of that. Now we have 2 climate control vents and the hazard switch. Down below, we have our climate controls. Just kidding! We have our radio controls. Just kidding again! They're climate controls. Here's the thing. Kia has been moving towards this in a lot of their products. This is a switchable panel that offers the ability to either have them as climate controls or as the radio controls. In theory, this is wonderful. In practice, this is terrible. I found very few times that it was actually set to the thing that I wanted to change. Every time I wanted to switch the radio, it was set to temperature, and every time I wanted to switch the temperature, it was set to radio. I find this confusing. I don't think it cleans up the interior that much, and I don't think it's very user-friendly. Down below, we do have 2 USB ports. One can be used for the infotainment or charging, or just charging, and you can actually switch that with a button. Then we have heated and ventilated seats for the driver and passenger, although heated seats for the rear passengers we'll talk about in a second. And the shifter, typical Kia shifter, park reverse, neutral drive, all standard business there. And then we have a bunch of modes down below. So we do have a center locking differential here in the Sorento, kind of overkill for what this car is going to be doing, but a nice feature to have. But we also have our drive modes for Eco, Sport, Smart, Normal, and Snow. So really cool being able to switch between all of those. Down below, we have our heated steering wheel, auto holding brake, hill descent control, power parking brake, camera button, parking sensors, and auto start stop on and off. Lots to look at and lots to love. Off to the right, we do have cup holders, so we'll do a big friggin' bottle test, but like every year in the past, the Kia Sorento fails the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do have some cubby space and the center console, nothing really to note in here. And then we have the seats. Now, this is a $295 option for the Sage interior, but I do like the fact that it sort of breaks up the interior. It doesn't blind you with bright colors, but it is interesting and different than just black on black on black. It adds depth and dimension to the interior without giving you retinal dystrophy. So, very, very nice to see that. The seats have been comfortable and they are heated and ventilated. However, speaking of seats, we are in the Sorento, which is a 3-row vehicle. So let's go do some backseat reviews. All right, so we're in the second row of the Kia Sorento from 2024, and a couple of things to note. First of all, I'm 5'11", not a small guy, and I am sitting here. Head is not hitting the ceiling, knees are not hitting the seat in front of me. Fantastic to see all of that. We do have 2 climate control vents down below, as well as a 12-volt outlet and a wall outlet with a grounding wire. We have heated seats in the second row, no heated seats in the third row, but in the second row, which you're going to use more often, we do get window shields, blinds. Sun deflectors. Why couldn't I think of that? Anyway, cup holders in the doors as well, and we do get this center aisle to get to the third row. So, as an adult, we also have charger ports, USB-C, on the sides of the front seats, so the second row can use those too. Plenty of charging opportunities. Let's take a look at the third row though, because that's sort of make or break here. And I child-locked myself. Stand by, please. Okay, so we do have a button here on the side that sort of pushes it down and forward, although being a big person, it doesn't really help out. But once we are in the back, this is not good for adults. I'll scoot over here to be a real world scenario. I would be jammed back here, and I would not be happy if I had to ride back here. But I am a full-grown adult. I'm big and strong. I drink my milk, and so it's not really for me. For kids, it would work. If your niece or nephew in town, it would work. But as I'll mention later, if you are serious about third row, if you have more than 2 kids, Kia Carnival. Kia Carnival, Kia Carnival, Kia Carnival. It's just a fantastic car. It makes life so much easier. I fit in the third row very comfortably, so your kids and family will too. Get the Kia Carnival if you plan on using the third row all the time. I'll get off my high horse. That's it. That's all I'll say about that. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the Kia Sorento X-Line XS Prestige. A little button down here, and it does have a power tailgate, which is fantastic to see. Once we are back here, however, you could see just how little cargo space you have when the third row is up. However, grab it there, grab and push, and there you go. The third row goes completely flat, and then now you have fantastic cargo space. I would highly recommend leaving it like this, but we're not done yet, folks. We can hit this button over here, And there goes the second row of seats. Now, unfortunately, they're not back up, so you do have to walk around and pick them back up, but we do get a 12-volt outlet, and I'll show you what that process is like. It's very easy. These seats are very light. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. Seats are back up. Come back here, grab these pull straps, pull that back up, pull that back up, and if you really want the icing on top, there you go. So, pretty simple mechanics putting the seats up and down. That was what, 10, 15 seconds, something like that. Really nice to see. And we can come down here. We do get a little bit of storage, front license plate bracket, things like that. But that is the rear cargo space of the Kia Sorento. Power tailgate again as it comes right back down. Now we gotta talk about the looks. And again, I love the color that this is in. I like the green. This is called Jungle Green, which I like a lot. And this is refresh for 2024. It looks a little bit different than it did in 2023. Here's what it looked like in 2023. And obviously this is the 2024 refresh, which is basically just bumpers, lights, things like that. I like the overall look of it. I think it's macho enough, but it's not overly in your face. It doesn't look like it's trying to bite my head off, which is good because it's a 3-row family SUV. It shouldn't be trying to bite my head off. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think, having spent an extended amount of time with the Kia Sorento X-Line SX Prestige? Well, I really enjoy this car, and I was excited to have this car on my calendar and spend a week with it. I think it does a lot of things really, really well. First of all, technology and overall feel. A lot of people have written off Kia in the past, and I think that that's a dumb move. It feels nice. It feels like I'm getting a $50,000 experience. And that can't be said about competing manufacturers. I like the wood grain. I like the different leathers. I like the color of the leather. I like the memory and ventilated seats. I like the heated steering wheel, the dual clutch automatic. I think altogether it is just a very good package. The downside would be that third row. I would say if you plan on using a third row seat more than 50% of the time, definitely go with the Kia Carnival. It's a minivan, it's meant to do minivan things, and so it's good at it. And again, to bring it full circle with that price proposition, I just got out of the Buick Enclave. And I know that these cars aren't direct competitors, but they are nicer 3-row SUVs with 4-cylinder turbos. That car was $65,000, and it was a nice car, for sure, but I don't feel like it was $15,000 more car than what you would find here. That car feels $5,000 better, but not 15. And so when you look at it with that lens, this car starts to make a lot more sense. It is a nice ride. It's nice to drive. It's a good 3-row, and I think Kia really hit it out of the park with the Sorento. I personally am a big fan, and I hope that you are too. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Kia for loaning me this Sorento for the last week to drive. Huge thank you to G. Schmidt for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this Sorento. And of course, the Midwestern Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.